O'clock, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Hoffman present.
Massey present.
Lane present. I want to thank everyone for coming, and I would ask, if you haven't already done so, to put your phones on silence. And if you could stand and face the flag, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So the first item on our agenda is to approve any available minutes. We have meeting minutes from July 11th. Alan, did you have any opportunity to review them?
I reviewed them. I don't have any changes.
Okay. Elaine, I didn't get a chance to review them till this afternoon, but I just want to make one clarification on line 53. The consultation with DPH is actually David. David had the consultation, then he spoke with me about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know I reviewed the video, and I kind of said it so that it might have sounded like me, but actually they spoke to David.
Which line? Where?
Line 53.
So it's just the health agent had the conversation.
Right, right. The
Okay.
health agent had a consultation. And MAVEN, that's an acronym, so it's all
All
capitals, from the Massachusetts Public Health Network. You might want to stick that in there just for clarification. And that's all I had.
What's the A for, Massachusetts?
Massachusetts, oh no, it doesn't stand for that. Do you know what MAVEN stands for? It doesn't matter. But it's all capitals. I looked it up.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, as long as I have the
Right.
nursing side of the Board of Health, I guess that's.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. All right. No other alterations. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
Motion to accept the minutes as
I'll second them.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, David, the floor is yours.
Quick report on what's gone on for the month of July. We've issued 5 construction permits for repair work and/or component replacements. So 5 construction permits were issued. We've inspected the public beach for water quality 5 times. We've issued 3 certificate of compliances for compliance projects that have been completed, septic system construction or component replacements. The others are still ongoing or they haven't begun yet. We've issued 1 food establishment permit. We've also received 10 Title V inspection reports. I should also note that CSX, the railways, has provided us notice that they will be doing vegetation maintenance over their rails over the next few weeks here. So
Is that chemical?
It is. That's pretty typical,
Okay.
and they will do some mowing vegetation as well. But that's pretty typical between them
Right.
and the power company,
Right.
the utilities. Those are the only updates that I would provide at this time.
Okay. We have an update on Acreage Holdings, the botanist. Do you want to handle that? You want me to handle it?
I'll let you do that, Rich.
So we have had some forward movement as far as acreage goes. We sent them a letter shortly after our last meeting, about a week after our last meeting. We got a response immediately. We sent an email and certified mail, and they responded immediately to the email. We have had several phone discussions, as well as a conference call with their corporate. We have now established a local point of contact in Sterling, which I think will really help the communication We have received a spreadsheet on the amount of industrial wastewater that has been hauled away since the new hauler has been hired. We have the name of the new hauler. We are going to reach out to the new hauler. We haven't done that yet. Is that correct, David?
That's correct, we have not.
And David and I have an appointment tomorrow to go and meet on site. We're going to take a look at their industrial wastewater procedures and put some names with the face as well with the local point of contact. So all in all, everything has been positive since our last meeting, and we have achieved some major hurdles there. So anything to add, David?
No, I mean, they're just looking forward to, getting this completely remedied, which I think we'll be successful in doing.
So,
Go ahead, yeah.
so do you have volumes of wastewater they've trucked away?
Yes, we do. Yeah, I don't have it right with me. Do you have the spreadsheet?
I have it online.
Yeah, Alan asked, do we have the volumes of wastewater?
Yeah, 2,700 to 3,300 gallons a day, every 2 days, excuse me.
Say that again?
2,700 to 3,300 gallons every 2 business days. That was the average.
Any other questions now?
No.
Gail, you have any
No.
questions?
No?
Okay.
You're getting pumped every 2 days, about, right?
Every 2 days, yeah, we were a little bit surprised, but
Yeah.
again, we're gonna learn more tomorrow. That's what this adventure has been lately, so.
Can I suggest once we get all this stuff in a spreadsheet, you circulate it amongst the board members?
We can, yeah. We wanted to clarify, David and I wanted to clarify, actually, we got the clarification from the lawyer recently on the spreadsheet. We were a little confused because we didn't expect it to be as much as it was. So, yeah, we will make that actually a part of our session here.
Okay.
So, anything else, David? Did I ask you that? No?
You did, but I'm all
Okay.
set. Again, I think once we have the opportunity to visit and talk with these people further, we'll be able to work with the hauler and make sure that they're licensed and it's properly manifested and move
Right.
forward with that.
Yep. Okay. I am going to recommend that we take item number 4 and do that after some of the new business here, because we have people.
I have no problem with that. I second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We don't have to actually have a motion on it, but.
No.
All right, so item number 5 is the variance request for 3 Tuttle Road. David, you want to fill us in on what you have so far, and then?
So 3 Tuttle Road had a failed septic system at that address. There was approximately 15 test holes that were established on that site to determine whether the site was suitable for a septic system. And all the test holes revealed ledge at a shallow depth, basically making that lot not buildable and not suitable for a septic system. With a consideration to a manifest injust to this address, the applicant's engineer specifically, and DEP have worked very, very hard to try and make this site so that they did not have to have a tight tank there. The engineer has proposed for all better interpretation on a pre-treatment system here, going to a traditional leach field. Leach field consists of a Presby system. He's still holding his 4-foot offsets, even though there's not 4 feet of parent material. They'll be building this system with 4 feet of septic sand and a pre-treatment system. If this system fails, and this is the precursor on this, the engineer has already taken this into account, where if this system fails in short order or otherwise, that he's got a ball valve established on this site so that we can shut the ball valve down and use this specifically as a tight tank. This pretreatment system comes with annual maintenance, contracted and operation and maintenance agreements recorded with the registry, so that this owner, current and future owners will be aware of this. I'm giving you the nuts and bolts. Jack, I'm going to let Jack bring this right up to speed with more of a detail to that.
Can I come up? Sure. Show you the plans. Two big blue areas of 100-foot well radiuses, one from the abutting property and one from our property. They're both artesian wells. The red area here is where the existing septic system is now that failed. The yellow is what we are proposing, and like David said, we poked holes all over the place, shallow to ledge, except for in this area where the current septic system is. And I did do, you can't really see it because of the colors, we actually dug through the system to get to the bottom to see how deep it was. Most of it was stone, pipe, and nice coarse sand fill that was installed when the system was installed. We had just shy of 2 feet of parent material, which we did take a soil sample of and run a sieve test for that. So the original plan that I had going was based on the perk test that was done in the sand fill. And then when we went back to do another set of test holes, I took the sample from the parent material that was there and ended up coming out with a higher loading rate. So the system is actually designed for that higher loading rate. Like David said, there's a treatment tank, which would be a singular treatment tank. It's basically air-infused septic tank, draws air from the outside down through this wand that will spin inside and aerate that tank, supercharge the bugs that live in there. The effluent gets clean, will go through the outlet here into a 1,000-gallon tank that has a ball valve at the end of it. It'll also have a filter in the outlet T. So if this thing were to go sideways at any time, like David said, we're able to turn that ball valve and shut this whole thing down that goes out to the leach field. So with that being said, I have documents that I wanted to share with the board in regards to, let me give this to David first. The deed notices that will be attached to the property as standard procedure for the bedroom count. Talked about a 3-bedroom deed restriction for that. As per DEP approval, you're going to have a deed notice for the singular system, the treatment tank, as well as the Presby unit, because this is a remedial use. We do have a draft copy of the maintenance agreement from SES Wastewater, which operates the Sigmund Environmental Systems operates the treatment tank here, the singular tank. They come out twice a year for 2 years. The third year, which we talked about, that's going to be on the homeowner at that time. And this is just their standard invoice. It's like $536 for them to come out.
Each time?
No, that would be for the third year, so that would cover two trips out to, and it's all specified in here what they do. They make sure everything's.
Is this our copy, or?
Yep, you can have a copy of that.
Okay.
Yep. And then the last thing that I put together, and I'll get a copy for each one of you. David and I had talked the other day. There is another town that we deal with that will provide this to, I have a copy of it. Basically, it's all the variances that we're looking for, and that will also be recorded with all the other documents with the deed. So if the board approves this tonight, the next person that buys this, and then down the road will have this attached to their deed, it'll be part of their deed, all the approvals and what's required of them going forward with this, with the inspections.
Okay, yeah.
I got a question.
Yes.
It has to do with the this says 2 inspections per year. That's forever?
That typically what they do is for the first 2 years, they would come out and do that, and then whatever the board decides to do, or whatever the requirements are at the time. I believe they're only required to come out for the first couple of years per the state requirements, but again, this being a little bit different situation than normal, you know, that can be extended out. I had another one a few years ago in Harvard that was supposed to go 10 years for testing and maintenance and all that. So, I mean, as long as the system's working and going, there should be maintenance on
So
it.
this is a 3-year, because I raised this when I looked at it today.
The first 2 years, the company actually, it's on the house for them.
Okay,
That's
but
part of the
this,
purchase.
what it says here, you make a 3-year agreement, 2 inspections per year. That's what it says.
Yep.
And that's what we're gonna do, right?
Yep.
That's what they're gonna do. Okay. Okay, this is a question I had when I looked at your stuff. I'm okay with that,
Okay,
except you spelled my name wrong.
I did, sorry. I can change that. I apologize for that.
You know me. I gotta dig in if I've got one.
Of course.
It's hard to catch up.
Yeah, so Al, it says, after 3 years, the system shall be inspected as per the manufacturer's recommendations, but no less than 1 time per year with follow-up reports submitted to the design engineer and Sterling Board of Health. So this is saying that it does have to be inspected.
Yeah, it should be
Once a year.
inspected. I mean,
After 3 years.
yeah, it should still
Right.
be inspected. Typically the first 2 years, they get a contract that the first 2 years are on the company
Right.
from the purchase. Then after that, it's an annual renewal for that, so.
Okay.
And that 1-year inspection is for the lifetime of that septic
Correct.
system.
Yeah, a minimum of once a year,
Okay.
but typically it's twice a year, so if they're paying the 536, that should be, I would have the guy come out twice a year, just to make sure everything's going. Because there are mechanics that are involved.
Right.
Electricity's gotta get down there, the blower unit, the spindle, all that needs to be,
Yeah.
make sure that it's.
I know this is an odd question, but typically, how often do you have problems with those?
I don't know, I really don't, I haven't heard of any,
Okay.
knock on wood, but,
Yeah.
you know, we've designed and installed quite a few of these over the last couple of years, and I haven't heard anybody come back and ask if there's any issues with it, so. The only issues would be if somebody decided to cut power to it. So, but with having those inspections, they can say, hey, this is going to stay plugged in, circuit's going to be on, all that stuff.
Well, that's why you have the inspection.
Yep.
Is mechanical,
And then,
as opposed to a normal
Right.
and
passive
then that
system.
last document that I handed to you, the reports will be given to both myself and to you
Right.
after, they've been typed up by the company.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. We don't have a lot of experience in Sterling with this, do
Not
we?
with this technology, no.
Any other questions?
I have no experience with this, so.
Yeah. Alan, you had any other questions?
What did you say?
Gail
I have
said,
no experience
Right.
with this, so.
No, I'm okay.
I only know what I've read,
No, I looked
studying
over
for
it.
stuff. But,
I'm okay.
okay, all these documents they gave, are these for us? Or,
those are for you,
Okay.
for your file.
all right.
Yep, because I have all the originals at the office.
Okay, do we have any abutters? Would you like to make a statement or any questions? If you do, can you go to the podium and state your name for us?
Daniel White, 5 Tuttle, just right up behind the property there.
Okay.
It all sounds like it's really well thought out, and it sounds like it's designed well, and you've considered a lot. My only question would be the ball valve in case of failure. At what point would a failure become known? Is that something that would be known during the inspection, or is that something that would just be like, just a soft spot in the yard due to the leach field overflowing or something like that, or?
It would be known at the time of one of the inspections.
Okay.
Yeah.
So theoretically, like preempting any like contamination or anything like that by?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it all sounds very well thought out and considered, and it's reassuring to hear that you've installed these systems before and haven't encountered any issues.
And another reassuring factor that should help you is that they've been dealing actually with the state on this as well, the state DEP.
Oh, that's great.
Because it's an unusual circumstance.
Right.
So,
So you're gonna go to cast a bigger net to get the data from.
well, actually, they're pretty helpful on these things. I don't know.
I had several conversations with the new regional director at Central DEP down in Worcester, and I think Davis had a conversation or two with them, specifically for this project. So.
Okay, and they seem pretty confident that this is.
They're the ones that actually directed me in this direction.
Oh, that's great. All right,
Yeah.
that's very reassuring. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no concerns.
And this is much better than an alternative such as a tight tank.
Yeah, that would
We
definitely.
want to avoid tight tanks as much as
Yeah,
possible.
definitely, For sure.
So this is a developing technology.
Yeah, it sounds like a much better solution for
Right.
everybody involved.
That's what we feel too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I'd just like to add one last comment that, if you're looking at the plan, you'll see the existing well for the property owner and the abutter's well, and there's not a lot of space in there, but, to maintain compliance to those two potable water sources, the system is outside of that radius on each of those private
Right.
wells.
And again, that system has been in place since 73 or 75. And the only reason why it failed is because, and I believe, looking at the inspection report that another company had done, there's quite a pitch that comes down from the house. There's plumbing in the basement of this that comes down, and you can see the slope. It's got to be 12 to 14 feet of slope into that tank. And with all that speed coming down there, the system, the tank being as old as it was, the baffle must have let go, rotted out, and then sludge, scum had gotten down into the box and then gotten into the lines. So, and plugged up the first 10 or 12 feet, because when we dug down this end, the stone and everything looked great. So that system had been working perfectly for years without any issue. There was no breakout noticed anywhere. It's just that there was so much sludge in that
So you're
box.
replacing all that stuff?
Everything, all that stone and pipe is coming out right down to that clean sand, and then that's all gonna be replaced with C33 Title 5 sands.
Okay.
As per the design manuals.
That's a lesson for everyone listening. Maintain your system.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll move that we accept the plan.
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I don't have any. So all those in favor?
Fine.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
And how do I spell my first name?
1 L?
L?
2 L's.
and an
2
E.
L's and an E.
Thank
You'll
you.
hear about it next time I see it.
Probably get an email or something.
No.
So when this is completed, this is going to be part of the packet that you
Yes.
give us to sign.
Yeah, so I can send, and I think, did I send you a copy of that letter this afternoon with all the variances and everything?
I don't know, I didn't check.
I'll send you the Word document, and this way you can copy and paste it onto Sterling letterhead if you want.
Perfect.
And it has everything, all the information's on there, except for the approval date, which would be today. I can add that in, but everything else should be in there, and I'll fix Alan's name.
Okay.
A-L-L-E-N.
Correct. The other documents, Alan, put those with the, because they only gave us one of these, one of each of these. We'll put these with the minutes, the other documents that he gave us.
Yeah, I gave you 3 copies of the,
Right. We each got our copy of the
you're right, the final deed.
right,
Notice with approvals.
and the rest of them we'll put in with the minutes, all right? If anyone wants to read them in the
Thank you,
future.
appreciate that.
Yeah. And our next item on the agenda is local upgrade approvals for 36 Lake Shore Drive. That's you, Tim?
Yep.
Okay.
Ready? Or do you want? Yeah.
David, anything to start us off with?
Certainly. So another address with a failed system as a result of a Title V inspection. Tight lot, property line offsets are being requested here for the tank and a pump chamber. Groundwater offset from 4 foot to 3 foot is also being sought. You know, again, Jack's kept it away from the public water supply as well as the lake. Excuse me, private water supply. The tanks themselves will need the variances also though for that.
This is 36 Lake Shore Drive, Broderick. Property line is in purple. It still goes quite a ways down to Lake Washacum down here. There is an existing well that's down in the middle of his yard down here, which is used for irrigation purposes only. I still showed that 100-foot arc.
Okay.
His actual drinking water well is right here, and this blue represents the 100-foot arc in there. Mr. Porter, and a butter, lives here. His well, and it's not shown on this plan, but we're about 125 feet away from his well with the tanks. So we're even further away with the septic system, and the same with Mr. Glazier. His well's over here. That's not going to have any effect on either our tanks or the system here.
So the only issue are the tanks and the owner's well.
The owner's well, correct.
Yep.
So
Do
there.
you want to watch what you're showing this? Do you want to come see what he's showing us?
I've met with him.
Oh, okay.
About a week
No, that's
We
fine,
have-
give him the option,
we
you
have-
know.
That's fine. So, Kevin right now has a tank, and the leach field is out in this area right here. What we're doing is we're gonna remove the existing tank, put a new septic tank, 1,000-gallon pump chamber, and pump it up towards the road. This yellow is the new Presby septic area. So, given the plumbing that's already there and not trying to recreate anything, I mean, you still have a 50-foot buffer all around to try to maintain. We're going to leave the tanks in the same spot, keep the plumbing the same, and just pull out the old tank, put new tanks in this area, and then pump everything up. However, with that being said, we are going to be within the 50-foot radius here, so we are looking for a couple of local upgrade approvals. 15405-1B, the reduction of the 10-foot separation between the property line and the system components would be the septic tank 7.9 feet from the property line and the pump chamber 6.9 feet versus 10 foot. 4051G, reduction of the system setback locations from a private water supply well but not within 50 feet. We have provided 42.4 feet from the septic tank and 45.6 feet from the pump chamber, and it is an artesian well, so you know it's a couple hundred feet down, and it's not like it's surface water that they're pulling from in their tanks. Mono tanks, I think I spec'd on these, so there shouldn't be any leaks in them at all. And then the last one would be 4051H, the reduction of the required 4-foot separation from the estimated seasonal high water table to the bottom of the leach area. We're asking for 3 feet.
And Dr. Glazier's here, so
Yep.
you,
And I spoke with him
Okay, all
even
right.
before I talked to Mr. Porter.
Okay.
The current, so right now, the septic's being going downhill. Is that right?
I was told it was over in here somewhere, but it could very well be over here, but that's all gonna get disconnected.
yeah. So,
I'm the guy here.
right,
It'll be pumped up here
Correct.
yeah.
It'll be,
with a pump in the tank.
correct. Yep.
That's pretty much every system now. That's
Right. And that's the same thing that we designed for Marie Fortunes a year ago when we did hers.
Why does this have to be above grade?
Because we have to maintain at least a 4-foot, but we're asking for a 3-foot offset to the groundwater table. So it's gonna be a raised system.
Was there a test well done?
Yes, we did a couple of test pits and a quick test out there.
And how deep, or how shallow was that?
the groundwater table was at 36 inches. So the system is basically going to be built right on the surface, and then you have 6 inches of sand above that, and then the pipes are 12 inches, and then you have a foot of cover. So that's why it's raised.
It's raised.
It's going to, yeah, about 3 feet or something, yeah, to finish grade.
So without the variance, it would be a foot higher.
Correct. And if we went a foot higher, we'd be encroaching on Mr. Porter's property, and then we'd also be encroaching on Kevin's driveway. So we're trying to keep the grading off the property line and off the driveway.
Any other questions?
No, he came by and, because I was concerned about my well,
Yep,
since my well is like right around here.
right.
So he just went over the whole thing and explained it to me, so I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I talked to you before about my well, which is down.
Yep, exactly.
I guess my main concern is about the aesthetics of the tank and the vent.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah,
that is the plight we're given in Massachusetts. Having to be 4 feet above the seasonal high ground.
yeah. Well, I mean, the vent is the vent. All systems that are pumped have to have vents. This one will not have one of those 10-foot high candy canes. It's just gonna have a small 3-foot candy cane, which they can also hide in one of those faux granite posts or something. Yeah,
Well, yeah, we ride by some of those 10-foot high ones
right.
on the road down, coming down, so.
Yep.
Kevin's gonna look at it every day, I mean.
It's very difficult because the size of the lot, in the water, the wells, you know, in the lake. So,
Correct. It's like a puzzle. We try to
right,
fit all the pieces in and.
and then all the other regulations. If you've ever looked at Title V, it's what, 100 and,
It's smaller now, but it's still pretty.
about 105 pages.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is Jay Blizzard. Mine through Lakeshore Drive. I hadn't heard that the system failed, as you mentioned. What was the failure?
We did a Title V inspection on it, I believe, and
It
That's
failed
what-
in the
it's-
leaching field or it failed in the tank?
Let me pull up that report.
Usually it's in the field that it fails. Because the system will be filled with water.
Did you smell anything?
No, you wouldn't necessarily, it can fail for other reasons that,
And is the upgrade because it failed or because there's work that's planned, like a scrape and a rebuild?
well, as soon as it fails, you have to repair the system, so.
Or was there an inspection done because of the planned?
They did a title, are they selling the property?
Well, I don't know if they were selling or transferred ownership within some means, but that's what precipitates. And then once they determine that it's failed, you certainly have a 2-year time frame to bring it into compliance. It can be done sooner than the 2 years if it's a public health risk. I don't think this was the case where it was a public health risk. I think it
No,
was just,
because when I was there, I walked all around the property and there's nothing that was breaking out. There's no smell. Even when Mr. Porter and I walked there that day,
I've never smelled anything. so.
yeah, it's not breaking out.
I think a lot of people, there's also a substantial tax credit. So I think a lot of people are taking advantage of that
Yep.
too, if they have a failed
credit
system.
too, so. But, you know, with Kevin just being there by himself, he's not using a whole lot of water. He's not there all day long except for 2 days where he works from home, but, you know, so you wouldn't necessarily see breakout as fast as a family of 4 or 5 would, so.
So there are technical reasons why a system can fail in Title V that was otherwise appeared to be working properly, you know. And that happens, and you have to repair it. Eventually, every system fails, but
Yeah.
that's a mantra of Board of Health, I guess. Okay, any questions, Alan?
Nope.
Any questions, Gail?
No?
Okay. I don't either, so can I have a motion?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Pass it aye.
Lane, aye. It's unanimous.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Seemed like I should thank all of you for serving.
And you.
Good.
Do we want, let's move to item number 7, the risks posed by West Nile virus, and I know. Did you want to handle that, or?
No, I asked.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I think West Nile virus is spread by mosquitoes, as probably everybody knows. And it is also triple E, which Eastern equine encephalitis is also spread by mosquitoes. These occur annually. We're in a part of the state where it would be rare, very rare, to have triple E in our part of the state. It's usually confined to the southeastern part of the state. However, West Nile virus can occur anywhere where we have mosquitoes, and we certainly have our share. Now, typically, it starts in around when mosquitoes get tested. The state runs the test program. There are no cures for these diseases. The only medical approach is to try to keep the people healthy, but there's no vaccine or anything like that. Now, typically, West Nile virus occurs late in the summer or even into the fall. Last year, the first test, the state tests via mosquito traps in a wide variety of communities. Last year, the first occurrence in Central Mass was well into October. So by well into October, people aren't outside at night, which is mosquitoes are active at early in the morning and at dusk. So there really wasn't any concern locally for this. Now, this year is a lot different. First occurrence, there was a positive in Clinton several weeks ago. There are other positives in surrounding communities. So the risk here is going to be much higher this year, and it's also much earlier, much earlier. And so I'm going to, you can look this up. I don't know, do you get the phone calls every week?
No, I don't.
No, you don't? Okay, well, you can be on the list to get the phone calls. They're automatic phone calls from DPH. Because the risk, this is my opinion, but I think it's well borne out, because the risk is going to be much higher this year because the occurrence is much earlier here, I would like to suggest that, and I'll volunteer to do it, that we put forth a weekly message on our website that takes into account, just, we don't want to overly alarm people, but try to keep the idea that you have to use mosquito repellent, the disease is here, or if not exactly here, it will be fairly soon. And so I'd like to, my suggestion is that on a weekly basis, I mean, I get the reports, David gets the reports also, we put up a notice of some sort on our web page, which will change as time progresses.
I'm all for pushing information out, so
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so I'll take responsibility for this. I'll look at what comes out down the road next week and probably write something. And then try to, I mean, the thing to do is to mention to the public where it's already confirmed.
Yeah.
And So there were positives in Worcester just this past week.
Yeah, I saw that on the
Now, I
news.
haven't looked, but I have seen a lot about the West Nile virus on other town sites, only because when I saw it when I was doing the fee schedule. Do we post it on our site, on our
I
Board of
think
Health
that's what
site?
Alan is proposing.
So,
Right.
Right.
Currently, in going back a little bit in history here, in years past, as well as this year since we started talking about this, we put a link up on our website. If you go to the Board of Health webpage, under the news and announcements, it's got a mosquito information. And when you click on that, it allows you to keep clicking into where it brings you up to all the data, the current data that DPH has established, which was what Alan was just talking about. I think it would be wise, Alan, if you want, my recommendation would be, it would be wise if you want to put something together to remind people. The data is already established through the DPH website, and the links bring them people there if they're interested. But I think the reminders, mosquito control repellents, approved mosquito control repellents, long sleeves at dusk and dawn, things like that. If we had something in addition to that, that might be helpful.
Standing water in your yards.
Exactly. Those common sense things that people overlook all the time.
Well, I think that the key, I can do that. I think the key thing is to mention where it's positive, and that drives it home. I mean, if they find, we're going to see surrounding communities that are tested, have positive tests, and we may indeed have some in Sterling. So I think that kind of triggers people, well, they say, well, it's not going to happen to me. But indeed, if you get the disease, a little less than 1% of the people have serious results, including you can die from it.
And long-term results.
Yeah.
Well, it's not all long-term.
Well, I mean, but people have had long-term
Oh,
effects from
oh,
this
yeah.
virus.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
my point.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just gonna get sick for a few days.
It's
A lot of people get long-term
long-term, and it can't.
issues from it.
Yep.
So you're gonna handle the website information.
Yes.
In the meantime, be aware when mosquitoes come out, early in the morning, early in the evening, especially if you're susceptible. Wear long sleeves, wear insect repellent. I know the DPH site recommends DEET. And get rid of standing water in your yard. I noticed the other day one of my bird bats had mosquito larvae in it, so that got refreshed anyways. But, so just keep an eye on that stuff, so. Thank you, Alan.
Okay.
Any comments on the 48 Worcester Road site plan review? Get a chance to look at that?
I did look at it. I didn't look at it in great detail. I didn't see significant issues that were related to the Board of Health. I think, the issues that would be raised by that site plan review, I think, belong to other committees.
Right. The only suggestion that I would have is that they, because of where their leach field is, I would suggest that they, just for their own sake, try to protect that patch of grass a little bit better than it is. Because the leach field is in the only patch of grass, number 8.
I'm sure.
The leach field is in that blue area right there. And if they're gonna be driving back and forth with heavy equipment to this area where they're storing pallets and stone and stuff, then you know, a lot of people don't realize that they shouldn't drive over, so we might just want to make a recommendation that they try to protect it either with, there's a few boulders protecting where the tank is, I did notice that. So somebody was aware that they don't want people to drive over where the tank is, but they also don't want forklifts or backhoes or anything driving over where the leach field is either. So they're just looking for comments, and that's the only comment that I would have, just to protect themselves. They might want to do that. Okay?
So, you gonna assign that to the health agent, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll respond to the town planner and let him know that this is a comment from the board.
Might be good to copy it to the owner. I mean, you know, it's, I mean, we're asked to respond to the town planner, but,
Yes.
yeah, but I would copy the response to the owner. And if you want, David, I could look it over after you write it.
Sure.
All right, next item, number 9, comments on the draft zoning proposals. Now, we just got this recently. They're asking the comments come in before the end of August. There's an awful lot there. I did go over them today. There's not an awful lot that pertains to the Board of Health. Gail, you did find one thing.
Yeah. I did find, yeah, they have a director of Board of Health. Who was the director of Board of Health?
No.
I think the term needs to be changed.
It needs to be the health agent.
Right.
So,
I mean, just terminology.
you know, a lot of cities have a director of Board of Health, and that would be appropriate in the city. And in this context, it's, it would be appropriate for the health agent to weigh in, to advise them in this particular instance if there's an additional load on the system with what's being proposed. So that's pretty much what they were looking for there.
That was on page 2 of number 4. 3B, I think it was. And I don't know if we should address our comments to them. I mean, I have on H4, you know, he crossed out all the references to other departments and boards getting copies and distributed by relevant boards. But in it, he didn't, I mean, I'm assuming that the planning board is going to give everybody copies, like they're doing with like 48 Worcester Road, and ask their opinion on it. I'm just making that assumption,
In certain
but-
circumstances, they do. Do they do?
I'm just
for
making that
every-
assumption, but they crossed off that whole thing, and that was on page 4, and I was just kind of, okay, you crossed it all out, there's this lack of, you crossed out the communication, so is it being replaced by something? And I'm assuming it's being replaced by the planning board, letting other boards know.
This is just very initial.
Right, oh, it is, and that's why they're looking for
Right,
comments.
well, I mean, but it's not clear. I mean, if
Well,
you
that's-
cross out all the communication and you don't have anything to replace it, you should have something, this will be done by
Maybe a
planning
little
board.
more detail as he goes along.
Right, but I'm assuming he's looking for detail to how to
Yeah.
clarify it.
He's looking for comments, so.
Yeah.
And this is actually on the town website. He's looking for comments from everybody. So, but the town planner brought it to our attention. So,
But I haven't gotten through all of them yet.
no. What I would recommend is if you're reviewing them and there's something specific to the Board of Health
Yeah.
that you think that we should comment on as a board, like that title,
Right.
that's specific, then we should come together at some point in time, or let the planner know that after our next meeting, we'll have another comment.
I agree, Rich. I think, you know, because this is so preliminary, I think even though they've asked for comments by the end of the month, I think if the board, you know, not to read it over in a week's time, but read it over and, you know, note what you think that the board should be, as a board, should be commenting on. We can discuss this further next month and then formally notify
Right.
the town planner what the board wishes.
But and specifically a comment as a board, like that
Right.
comment. I have a ton of other notes that I'm going to comment to the town planner on, but it has nothing to do with the Board of Health, just because I'm going over it and I'm seeing some things.
So any other comments should go to him if it's not strictly Board of Health.
Yeah, you can comment even as a citizen to
Right.
him, yeah.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Because there's a lot there, and it takes a long time, which is why I know. So, item number 10. This is actually 33 Main Street?
33.
Yeah,
So,
the communication I got said 27, and I just checked it to make sure that I didn't mess that up, so it's 33 Main Street. You want to fill us in on that?
sure. So, 33 Main Street, there was some concern with some scraping of paint over there and possibilities of lead paint. Going back a little bit in time in history, 2015, 2016, the owner at that time did some painting, some work on the outside exterior of the building. And it was clarified that there was lead paint there. So he did a good job maintaining compliance, maintaining all the lead paint, the lead chips, etc. But the back section was never really completed because he had other plans that may include further construction there. Fast forward to just recently, the property has been sold. The new owners want to finish that section off without doing any further remodeling construction and kind of make the building look more presentable. So they were scraping, it was noted, concerns were addressed as far as complaints. Went over and had a discussion with the painters, and I had a discussion with the owner. Good discussions, in fact. They're doing what they have to do now to make sure that the paint chips are contained, cleaned up, there's nothing in a public way, as was done in the past. So at this point, I think we're in good shape. Again, I had really good conversations with the owner and the painters.
Okay. Questions on that? No? No, neither do I. Okay, so let's go back to item number 4. The review table of fees of the Board of Health Services. And we've already done all the septic with a couple of exceptions. And you gave us a new document today, right?
I did.
Gail?
I did.
Yeah.
So what I did is I broke down, the first part of this is I broke down the ones for the higher gallon per minute, or per day, I should say, gallon per day. And I pulled out what I could find in the other towns to compare it with.
Okay.
And the only other town that had it spelled out was Westminster, and they're at 725 and plus they're 350, and we're at 600 plus 350, and nobody else has that spelled out, at least on the board.
So, right now Gail is talking about, in our septic system fees at the last meeting, we put off talking about the additional
Right.
gallons per day fees. So,
Find that piece of paper. Where are you in the book?
oh, this was from the last meeting. This is just our fee schedule.
Okay, I don't have that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have, well, right there is what the one I just gave you.
This
This
Excellent.
is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so
Okay.
this has everything on it here. This is Sterling.
Yeah, no, I.
This is just from our website. I printed that up.
Oh, okay.
So you
All right,
could use that one.
okay.
Actually, I misspoke. Boylston also had higher gallon rates. They were 600, 800, and 1,200.
And you said Westminster had,
Westminster, right, they were.
at 725.
Right.
That's not on yours, right?
Well, I
Yeah.
added these 3 fees to
Okay.
total what theirs were versus ours. So it's 725 versus 600
Oh.
if you go up.
Okay,
It's in the total form.
yeah.
Where are you?
So,
I see
They all
that.
spelled it out different too. That's why
we're not comparing apples to apples.
Right, I know that. but I'm just trying to follow what's being read.
So it looks like only Boylston has those additional fees.
So Boylston and Westminster. See, I put the terms that they use specifically, because they all had different terms.
Yeah.
Versus ours, so ours has these 3 terms, they have these terms.
Okay, all right, okay, I see what.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? Because they're not the same, they're not apples and apples.
Right.
And I wanted to be clear that they're similar, but not necessarily the same. And I had to do that with the food and restaurants too. But I don't see any need to change necessarily what we do. I think that Boylston probably has a lot more apartments and condos and that kind of thing anyways than we do.
Well, I know West Boylston, most of their stuff is on sewer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so they don't,
Yeah.
And I don't know how many of these communities have systems like ours, like what is attached to the nursing home in Sterling.
Large systems.
that's a.
Yeah,
that's
large
a
system
package
like
one.
that.
Yeah, that was a-
And my thing is, I think what we charge is fair, because we're talking about the plan review and the construction permit. These are things that we have to bring in professionals to look at, so.
And we charge the professionals, if we bring in professionals, we do pass that fee on, right? In addition? Am I correct?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So next item is bed and breakfast. The only other one that had it is Westminster. They were 100 plus 10 per room, and we're 100. But I think that's fine.
now what are you talking about now?
Next, under food-based, because this is all one item, even though it's named differently.
Okay, but these are,
These are other fees of ours.
not septic fees.
Not septic fees,
Okay.
because this was the last of the septic
So,
fees that we
right.
didn't do. Because we tabled this one because it was
Right.
more complicated.
So we're just going to leave the fees then? We're not-
I would leave our fee, do we need to make a motion?
I think we should make a motion to, did we do that the last
You
time?
made a motion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All of it.
go ahead, Alan.
I move that we accept all the fees, Sterling fees related to septic systems.
Well, right now, we're specifically talking about the septic system plan in review and construction for over
For 2,000 and up.
2,000 gallons a day.
Oh, so it's going line by
Yeah.
line? Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
So the motion would be to leave the fees in place that we have.
Yes.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right. So Elaine, we're leaving the $500 and the $100 fee in place for this septic system plan review and construction permit. Those are the only 2 things that we put on the table from the last meeting concerning septic systems. So now we'll move on to our other inspections that we're required to do. Let's go line by line.
Yep.
Bed and breakfast.
We have 100, and Westminster has 100 plus 10 per room. I see no reason to change our 100.
No, I think that's fine.
All right, so I motion that we keep it at 100 for bed and breakfast.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, next item is caterer. We're 75, West Boylston's 200, Westminster's 170, and Holden is 100. And, I'm trying to find it here.
Can you clarify what that is?
Okay, so, now, ours is 75, and that's what I was, because theirs is annual. So this is a caterer's annual fee for West Boylston.
But ours is too.
I don't know, that's what I'm gonna check.
All of our
Is
fees are
ours-
annual.
Is ours a daily, or is it annual? Okay, all right.
We do have temporary food permits, which we issue for 3 days for the Sterling Fair. but all of our food permits.
So if a caterer is doing an event, say in the town hall, are they already approved? Do they have to get a special permit in addition to their catering approved
So
permit?
a caterer, what we would have classified here is an establishment such as a caterer in town here
Yeah.
that provides food to an outside source such as the town hall or someplace else. If a caterer from another town
It's not registered with us.
that's not registered with us but is in another town, their base point is in another town, Clinton, we honor that because they'll come to the town hall to deliver food. They don't need to get a permit from us, they've already got one from that town, which they bring into our town. But if a registered for this town, we've had one before, they did a great job, a caterer in town, they would get a $75 catering permit for the year.
For the year. Okay, it is yearly, okay?
Currently, we don't have any gators, no.
We don't have any? So it's not even,
Ah.
kind of a non-issue?
I
Well,
would-
it could come up, but
I would bump that up to $100.
Yeah, I would second that.
When it occurs, you gotta go out there and you're inspecting from scratch.
well, yeah, it's one time,
Twice a
but twice a year, right?
Twice a year.
Yeah,
It's
so,
no different than any other food permit.
so I
Right,
mean,
it'd be the same as a restaurant.
yeah, so, I mean, you've made 2 trips, I think $100
Yeah,
is more reasonable.
yeah, I would agree. My motion, we do, go to $100 for the caterer.
You second that?
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next one is a mobile food unit. So our $100 fee, is that yearly?
It is.
Okay. And West Boylston is $200. Westminster is $80 for 6 months. And Holden is $150. Boylston is $100.
How many, in this, they drive to some location and you inspect it, right?
Yes, so with that particular mobile food unit line item, you probably have visited or driven by them. There's a mobile food unit on Choxet Road, which same thing, it's basically just a permanent stationary, although it does have wheels, it has to be moved.
Does this also include like the ice cream trucks?
That would be under temporary food permit, which
Okay.
are 3 days.
Well, what if they wanted to, like, keep going down to the beach or whatever?
They could do that.
Yeah,
They could do that and get an annual food permit for $100.
like the ice cream truck that came to the,
Same,
what?
same thing, he could have got the $30 permit, or he could have got a.
Like, did they get the 3-day one, or
I'd have to look, Rich, to see that.
put you on the spot? I'm just wondering.
I don't know the answer.
But, so they have the choice, yeah, okay.
You know,
It's kind of silly if you're going to do it more than once not to get the yearly.
the fire department used to get a temporary one for their duck barbecue, and then they
Yeah.
started doing, so it doesn't make good business sense to stick with the temporary one, just get the annual one.
Right, I agree. So the question is, what do you think about the $100 for the fee?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, no, get it out.
That involves one inspection, right? Or more? 2?
Well, again, the permanent ones down on Choxet Road and others that have been in the area that are permanent, we do 2. As long as they're open for 12 months of the year, we do 2 inspections. The ones that are not, the ice cream truck, it's typically a one-off.
Like, we used to have one down by St. Richard's, they weren't there all year, so you would have probably done that
Once a year.
once. So, I don't know, I'm good with the $100.
Yeah.
I am too.
Okay, so we have a motion on that?
My motion may stay to $100.
Second.
Okay. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 100.
Nonprofit food, The only two that charge for this is Sterling, we're 25, and West Boylston is 50. I guess it's nonprofit, so I'm not looking to make money off a nonprofit, is my attitude.
I don't have any issue with
I mean, does it require any work for you? I mean,
We still go out and do it.
you still go like the churches and stuff like that, you go inspect them? But you have to, do they have a fee for the inspection for the churches, or is it just for the food?
Just for the food.
Okay.
I would think we could go to 50 there. I mean, it's not big dollars either way, but, I mean, it is time.
Who gets this permit now?
Who gets the permit?
Yeah, who does this in town?
So the applicant, whomever that would be, would reach out to us and get a permit.
Right, do we have any of these permits active?
I think St. Richard's might be one, Hope Chapel might be one,
Church?
the First Church,
Church,
yeah. I don't think beyond that we have anything else that's nonprofit. I think basically the nonprofits, they're really
Yeah,
Right.
they're beneficial to the population.
A lot of people in the community.
I know what First Church does, and I know what St. Richard's does, so I'm good with it staying 25.
And I know what Hope does, I mean, they do a lot for the community.
That's right.
Yeah, so, I mean, I motion we stay to 25.
Okay with that.
Okay, and you second that, Al?
We don't have to change it.
Yeah, but we've been voting on every one.
All right, no,
We're just trying to stay, I think in the future, we'll do it a little differently, but we gotta do it this way. 'Cause we
okay,
don't-
I'll second it.
Yeah, motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, what's the difference between a so a residential kitchen is someone that's cooking, making food to sell at home? Okay.
Not that they would sell it from their home, but they
No,
may.
but they're making it, they might sell it at Appleton Markets, they might, right. Okay, so we're 100, West Boylston's 150, Westminster's 50, and Holden's 100. I motion we keep it 100.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous?
Okay. Now, restaurants above 10 seats.
Up to 10.
Up to 10 seats. We're 150. West Boylston's 300, but theirs goes to 34 for the first time. Westminster goes to 25 for the first one, which is 200. Holden goes to 24, which is 150, and Boylston is just 200. And then you can see where we have above 10 seats, and that's all we go, and West Boylston goes up to 75 for 300, and then above 75 of 400. We don't have anybody that big, right? Okay. So,
How many is Barbara's Crossings?
yeah, Barbara's Crossing might be there.
They have a fair amount of seats, but I don't think they have that many. I'd have to look to see what they put on their application.
So,
That's twice, these are twice a year, right, David?
Yes, they are.
oh, these fees are twice a year?
No, it's one fee.
Right.
Oh, two inspections a year.
Twice a year,
Okay.
That's what I meant to say.
minimum.
Yeah. So what is it? We had a conversation earlier tonight, David, about costs. What does it cost us for the inspections?
Well, again, depending if we have, when we do an inspection, if we have to go back because there's violations. But, I'd have to really pay attention to see what our time is and our cost is. Obviously, the bigger kitchens take a little bit more time. I know that, specifically the school does a phenomenal job with their kitchen. I mean, to the point where the times, temperatures, everything is detailed in a log. It's attached to the fridge. All the food has been labeled and dated. Everything is managed and off the floor. The coolers all have coverings, labels on everything, when it was put in there. I mean, the detail that the school does is phenomenal.
So are they considered a restaurant?
They are considered a restaurant.
Really?
It's a food establishment.
Okay.
They serve food.
Well, they do, but I wouldn't consider them a restaurant.
That's one of my, believe it or not, that's one of my favorite places to go.
Well, because
Not that
it's,
I get an ice cream sandwich or anything like that, it's just
well, because it's
so
easy and it's boom, 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 you know?
organized.
Yeah, it makes it easy. Okay.
Kids do pay for the food.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've had kids in school.
I'm wondering if do you know why we did the 10 seats and above 10 seats?
I think it's just more of a timing thing, you know? It does take a little bit longer for us to do an establishment like Barbers Crossing versus the Brick.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
they're totally different.
I mean, the Brick has much more than 10 seats.
Right.
Yeah, I just, this is a smaller establishment,
Yeah.
I didn't count the seats, but
Yeah, ten's a
I'm trying to
odd.
think of any restaurant that has less than 10 seats.
Yeah, I would actually go to 25.
I was wondering if you guys wanted to consider going, like, restaurants up to 25 seats. And then restaurants 25 seats and above, maybe increase that a little. What would your thought be on that, Alan?
Well, I mean, I don't think we have any that are 10.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
So you would say what you said before.
Restaurants up to 25 seats,
Yeah.
I would suggest we leave it like 150. Restaurants 25 seats and, well, above 25 seats,
Right.
go to 250.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree to that.
Okay, so kind of a motion to that effect.
I motion that we take that, we adjust these prices accordingly.
Second, Alan?
Yeah, second.
Motion and a second. No further discussion heard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So Elaine, so we'll say restaurants up to 25 seats
It's a 150
is 150.
and 25 seats.
Actually, it should say restaurants 26 seats and above, right? Because even the way it's written now, they actually overlap.
Yeah, you're
So-
right, it's 26.
26 seats and above will be 250. Joe King will be very happy with me.
Shock.
I just think because I could see it taking
Take some time, yeah.
Okay. You want to continue?
Sure. Next line is temporary food permit. We have 50. Now, ours is a 3-day, right? West Boylston's 50. Westminster is a 6-month for 60, which I thought was interesting. Holden is 100. And, okay, so Holden is a temporary food permit for 1 to 14 days. Okay. So,
I mean, most of our temporary food permits are for the fair.
correct.
I mean, do we have any others? I mean, have we had any others recently? I mean, there have been instances where there have been others, but
Yeah, I mean, if someone does an event, a road race or something like that, you'll find a straggler that will come in for a temporary food permit. I think last year, or a couple of years back, maybe it was over at the school, they had, I think the rec department, or somebody had something over there. It was in October, it was very, very wet, I recall. And there was a couple of temporary food permits that were issued for that event.
And Employee Appreciation Day.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
now, wait a minute, wasn't that catered by the fire department? So do they have to get a temporary food
For the
permit?
ice cream truck.
Oh, but for the ice cream truck, but just for the ice cream truck, not for the
Right.
fire department, right?
So the fire department does get an annual permit.
Oh, okay. Well,
They
okay.
have events, the fire, the
Yeah.
chicken duck barbecue, the Sterling Fair, et cetera.
Okay. Okay. Campground permits.
well, I would
Oh, sorry.
leave this the same.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, so Alan's making a motion to leave it.
I second.
Gail, second. All those in favor?
Aye. Campground permit. We're 150, West Boylston's 150, Westminster's 300. Holden, although Westminster, if you can see, they go up by the number of people. And they actually have an additional fee for high-risk activities, which I thought was very interesting. And Holden, I'm sorry, my typo there, is 200, and regular Boylston is 150. So, how many campground permits do we have?
We had one at one time, but I have not seen that in a long time. And it was for the Boy Scouts over at the, I thought they were specific to the Boy Scouts, over off of Ford Road.
I would say leave it. I mean, right now, we're not issuing any.
Right.
And
I would second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
What was it, two?
Oh, 150.
Leave it as it is?
Yeah, we're leaving it, yeah.
Okay, next item, funeral parlor.
Donation boxes. On our sheet.
What? No, well, I'm going on down mine.
Okay, do you have it anywhere on here?
No, I don't. It wasn't on the list she gave me. Because I went from the.
Because that was an older spreadsheet, and that's a new fee.
Oh, okay,
Within
yeah,
the
I'm
last
sorry, I
meeting.
don't have that one, so.
Okay,
I mean, I can look at it when we get done. What is it?
well,
Which one?
it's donation boxes, so,
Is that like the closed donation boxes?
yes.
Okay, well okay, so we should look at that at the end, because I've got all the paperwork to do it.
All right.
Okay, and I think West Boylston is the only one that does, so I only have to look at one. But it's a question whether the Board of Health does it too. Okay, funeral parlor is the next one on my list.
Okay,
We're 50, Westminster's 100, Holden's 50. And now the interesting part is, some people have a vicar's license.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people have a funeral, I just put them both the same, because each only had one, so.
we don't issue the common vic.
The select board does.
Yeah,
But we have a fee for the funeral parlor.
yeah. That is part of our responsibility as a Board of Health.
But it is totally separate than a common vic.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have one funeral parlor.
Pretty straightforward at that address. I mean, there's no embalming done there, so we don't really have a lot of an inspection time to do. The whole facility does that.
Okay. I make a movement, we just keep it at 50.
Second that, Alan?
I have a relative that works for Miles, so I'll second it. I don't think it's a conflict.
Yeah, you're not getting any benefit from that. But- All right, you have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
We were the only ones that had a housing occupancy permit. Out of the 4 towns that I looked at. Now, I always thought housing occupancy was the building department.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we have that. I never recall ever seeing anything like that, so I don't have an understanding to that.
Okay.
So we haven't issued one. Then we should consider removing.
Yeah, why don't we, I motion we remove it then. If it's not our jurisdiction, is that there if in case we have, someone has a failed septic system and we've said you can't, no? Okay, I just wondered, I mean, that
That's-
would be why, in my opinion, but.
We issue a certificate of compliance before the town will issue an occupancy permit. Before the building department will issue an occupancy permit. They come to us to assure that there's a certificate of compliance for the septic system.
And that happens after, say, someone didn't fix their septic system in 2 years and you've made them leave the property.
No, that's a whole separate thing.
I'm just trying to figure out why this,
Occupancy permit generally comes from a building inspector.
Right.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, I don't know why it's listed with us.
Okay, then we'll I motion that we remove it from the fees and then, because it's not applicable.
David, have we ever issued one of these?
That's what, I just asked him, he said no, he doesn't recall us.
I'll stick with my suggestion we delete it.
Yep. So we have a motion and a second.
Yep.
Motion and a second
To remove it.
to remove it. So all those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Aye.
We have a $30 massage fee. Nobody else has one, but I motion that we keep the fee. Because don't you have to do an inspection for massage?
I've never done a massage parlor.
We don't have one,
We don't have one, okay.
but I would think it's good to keep.
I think we should have some fee, because if you
Yeah, I
do
think-
have one, there should be some inspection,
Right,
right?
we would be responsible for that.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so I have a motion. Alan, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motel, we're 200, West Boylston's 250, and Westminster's 50. I'm okay with leaving it.
Yeah, I move that we keep it.
Do we have a motel?
We do not.
No, we have a hotel.
We have a hotel, does that pay the motel fee? Because we don't have a hotel, should we change the title to motel hotel?
We could, or we could slash hotel.
Yeah.
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 I think we should.
So, okay, so Choxet Inn doesn't get a permit from us?
They do. That, we would just classify it as hotel.
Right. So
We could put motel, hotel.
right,
Okay, but I didn't see hotel on here.
it isn't.
It isn't.
We're talking about putting a slash after the motel and put motel hotel.
Yeah, but, I mean, we've been issuing them a permit.
Yes, yes.
With a hotel
So-
permit?
So we're
Yeah, a motel
gonna
permit.
clarify.
Verify that.
Okay.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to that effect?
Yes. So be it.
So the motion is to keep the $200 fee and change the title to hotel/motel permit.
Yes.
Right.
You second that, Alan?
I second it.
Okay, a motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is that good, Elaine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pasteurization?
We don't have any of them, but we are responsible for that, so I would suggest keeping that.
We have in the past, though, so.
Okay. And for pasteurization, what does it take from you? If you have in the past, what was required of you?
We would make sure that they have all the requirements for DPH, because DPH also does an inspection there. And it's basically just going to make sure that their product is pasteurized.
Okay. So it's not a big requirement, it's not a lot, okay.
No, it's not a lot of time. I think, $30.
Right. Okay. All right, then motion, we keep the $30.
Second.
A motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have a question, though, before we move on. Non-pasteurized goods being sold in town. Do we have any responsibility with that?
I don't know the answer to that, Rich.
Okay, I know DPH does. We should look into that.
And I know that you're right that DPH does, because when they have issues, we are notified of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was just reading about it. And I believe it's all DPH, but I want to make sure of that. Okay.
Private water treatment, we were the only one that had that $3,500 fee. There was no other fees, but I think we should keep it.
That's the nursing home. I fought real hard on that one. That's,
Well, that is not, isn't that also biologics? Private water treatment, oh no, it's, okay, so that's different.
What's biologics?
I was thinking water, the
Industrial
wastewater
wastewater,
way.
no.
Is that, so what is a private water treatment?
It's
that's
just what it said.
a package plant.
A what?
This is a so-called package plant. We have one, it's the nursing home. The nursing home,
The nursing home is so big and serves so many people that it has to have its own
treatment.
sewer treatment plant.
Treatment.
It has its own sewer treatment plant.
You go up there, look out, or you can see it from the highway, there's a brick building out there on the hill.
So it's,
It is a treatment plant, it's a
Oh,
private
okay.
sewerage treatment plant.
okay. Okay. And what is required of us for that?
So with that particular facility, we have, twice a year, we go out and inspect. Every month, they have a contractor, a third-party contractor that comes in. They take care of those fees. We also do plan reviews on those reports. We outsource the oversight on those reviews. Fay Spofford and Thorndike, Fay Spofford was the review. Now they're called,
Something else. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
give me 1 second and I'll get that answer for you. They're called, Stantec.
What?
Stantec is the new owners.
Yeah.
Fay Spofford and Thorndike was sold out. Stantec purchased, acquired them, and they do all the reviews, the monthly reviews on us.
And we pay for that.
That's a different fee. That's there's money that's set into an account on that, where they just pay it's a revolving account. It has nothing, it has things to do with the Board of Health, but it's not a general fund budget. It just
Okay.
goes into a revolving account.
And it's paid for by the nursing home?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I vote we keep the 3,500.
Yeah, I'm in favor of that.
You're seconding that one?
Yeah, I second.
Yeah. Well, you fought hard for that.
I fought hard
You
for
fought
that.
hard for that, yeah.
You better believe it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to take it away, you know, I mean, because it sounds like it's complicated.
It is,
Yeah.
and they originally wanted a regular septic system. And it's, you can see it on the hill over Stillwater River. And the Board of Health objected strenuously to say.
All right, we have motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. We're the only ones that had just plain retail up to 2,000 or over 2,000. Nobody else had any fees, but I vote that we keep the fees
As they are.
as they are. Unless somebody thinks they take a lot of time and we need to up them.
So the motion is to keep the
The retail.
$100 fee for the retails up to 2,000 square feet
Yeah.
and the $200 over 2,000 square feet.
Correct.
Second?
Yes, second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Two at once. Okay.
Okay, and I just put these retail food in here because we really didn't have any, but all the other ones did. But I thought it's good information, but we do have retail food. We have the little corner store there. We have a couple of retail foods. I mean, more than I'm thinking of.
But I think they just go with the annual food permits. I don't think that
Okay. All right, because they are also pretty much small. Okay. A stable $20 charge?
I think that's reasonable. I mean,
Yeah.
we have, I don't know, maybe 25, 20 of them.
Okay, and what does it require of you?
We have to go out and do barn inspections annually at those locations,
Fill out forms.
And what are you looking for?
making sure stables have proper manure management, not more than the volume. I think it's a quart or 2 quarts of manure stockpiled on the property. The general conditions of the animals, water supply. It's not that difficult.
Do you do that? Does Kelly do that?
Both of us do that.
Yeah, okay. You good? Have a motion?
I move this, we maintain the fee at $20.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Swimming pool, we're 150, West Boylston's 150, West Finster's 175, Holden's 150, and Boylston's 100. I think we're right in there. I think we should just keep the same fee.
How many of these do we issue?
We have, I believe, 3.
I'll stick with that.
Okay, so Gail motions, Alan seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Cleaning salons, anybody that has fees for those, it's $200 across the board. So I'd say we keep with that fee. Do we have any?
We don't, that I know of.
Okay.
I think we have had in the past once.
We may.
think there might have been a hairdresser that had one at one point, many moons ago.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Private well, we're 125, West Boylston's 100, Westminster's 125, Holden is 100, and Boylston is 100. I say we stay with the 125.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Now, revision of wells, the only one that has a fee is Westminster on revision that I saw. What does it take for you for revision? Should we have a fee?
I don't have any issue with not having one. It doesn't take anything from us.
Okay. And well repaired, they have a $75 fee.
I've never seen anybody come and pull a well permit repair.
Okay. What about well destruction?
We've witnessed them, we've had applications come in for them, but we've never charged a fee. And that's just to make sure that the well is properly abandoned with bentonite, as casings is.
So a well okay, so a well abandonment, to me, it can be a safety issue if it's not done correctly. And I think we should have a fee for it.
Can I'll make a comment too. We want to make sure it's done correctly.
Exactly.
So I would encourage not to charge a fee for that. Because we want people to call us and say, I want to abandon my well, can you come make sure I did it right? Rather than, oh, I don't want another fee. Fill it in with rock.
These could be artesian wells, which are, let's ask ourselves, how many times have you witnessed that or had to do anything with that?
An abandonment of a well?
Yeah, well abandonment, really.
I'm going to say I've probably done 3, maybe 6 well abandonments. But again, maybe that's because,
Yeah, I'd be in favor of having that.
I'm not opposed to having it. I think, like Rich said, charging a fee kind of discourages somebody. You're going to abandon your well and it's just another cost. It's like, why bother calling? Let's just do it this weekend.
Yeah, but if you don't have it on the fee schedule, there may be people doing it anyway.
I was thinking getting on the fee schedule so we know where the abandoned wells are.
That's kind of where I'm coming from.
I mean, you can put it on a fee schedule and put a 0 beside it.
Or $20.
I don't.
Or $25. I mean, something that's minimal. I mean, most people aren't going to complain about a small amount, I don't think.
I mean, we could make it $25. I think it's important to know where these are.
Right. But
3
I don't-
owners down the road.
But are they going to get a permit for it? I just don't know. I mean, I think Rich's point is true too. You don't want to make it difficult for them, but we need to know where the abandoned wells are, and we need to know that they're done right. So what's a good solution?
I think they have a $25 fee. Then you got some leverage to investigate. If you have to,
Oh, no, we have the authority. It's right in the responsibilities of the Board of Health as well, abandonment. I mean,
You said you've done 3 or 6, in what time frame? In all your years?
It might be, since it's my time here. I mean, it's not that we get a lot of them coming in,
Yeah, that's
but
not
maybe people just look at it and says, I'm just going to, cut this casing off and fill it up with sand or pea stone.
Right,
And that's not the proper way to do it, but,
but, it happens.
yeah, I mean, I'm assuming, yeah.
So how often do you get a request for a new well?
well, not associated with new construction
Right.
is the way.
Not associated with new construction, a new well for an existing home.
No, we don't. Maybe once in my career here, we
Oh.
had an existing home that needed a new well, and that was specific because they had a septic system they were replacing, and there was no other place for that to go, so they felt it was best to do the well and the septic system. In fact, they kept the old well for irrigation purposes,
Okay.
and then deed recording associated with that.
So it's kind of a non-issue because we've had so few,
Not to
basically is what
make
you're saying.
matters more confusing, but, we talked, Alan, you mentioned knowing where these components are. I think that's a good idea, just so the board knows that, I don't know how many years back, 3 or 6 years back, the state requires well drillers now to use coordinates, GPS coordinates, when they drill their well, to log that into their well reports. So we have well reports that show GPS coordinates for new construction wells, but the older wells, we don't have all that data.
Like older, how long is that regulation?
Which I'm gonna say maybe, and time flies by, I don't know when that law went into effect, maybe 6 years ago. So anything from 6 years to current will have coordinates. Anything beyond that, we won't.
I have a well in my yard. I have a general direction where it is, but I've never used it.
And a lot of times the wells are buried,
Right.
so a lot of homeowners know they got a private water supply, but the thing keeps working, so.
Now I just haven't used it. It smells like sulfur. Thank you very much. Town water is good. But, so what do we do with this?
I would keep it with a $25 fee.
You making a motion to that?
I move, yeah.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I thought you were gonna second.
Not me.
I know, not you. I'm gonna second it, because I think we need some, it's communication. And I don't know that it'll get it, communication or not, and it's not that many people that are gonna have to do it, but if they call and they ask the Board of Health, what do we need to do? If there's nothing there, then there's nothing they have to do, right? So we should have a form to fill out that gets all the information for us, how they close down the well.
That's what I think. I would, well, we still got it open, I would say well abandonment. not-
Yeah, that's how I wrote it,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So the motion is by Alan, well abandonment with a fee of $25, seconded by Gail.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Nay. Now, I have a question. At the last meeting, we said we decided that all these fees will be effective January 1st, 2025.
Yes.
Well abandonment is a new fee. Do we want to make that effective immediately?
Yes, I would agree. As well as we made the wastewater hauler immediate. Right?
Did we do that? Did we? I didn't
thought we
see
did
that.
that last, I didn't see that on the paper, but I thought we voted last time on the wastewater treatment hauler.
I'd have to look online to see what that,
I don't remember that.
But I didn't see it in the paperwork.
That's right, we discussed it.
We discussed it.
But I thought we
It was discussed whether there would be different fees for different numbers.
I don't think we ever made a decision. I'll have to look, but I don't think we did because I don't have a check mark next to my note. So.
Okay, so we should, I motion
Okay.
that we make this effective, the well abandonment, immediately.
I'll accept that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. I don't like the fee, but if we're gonna do it, we gotta do it immediately.
Okay, even though it's not on this one, I think we should bring up that wastewater hauler, because if we.
Well, I was going to anyways, as in the table of fees. I believe the industrial wastewater hauler should mirror what a septic hauler fee is. Right now, that's $150.
I motion that we create a fee for the wastewater treatment hauler for $150 immediately.
Alan?
Yeah, I think, I still have some confusion on that. Is that per truck or per applicant? That's what I had.
Per applicant, that's what we decided for the septic
No, I don't
system.
think we decided that. I thought that was.
No, we did. Oh, I reviewed it. We had extensive conversation.
We did on that, we did on the waste hauler,
Septic,
the septic hauler.
So ultimately, both will be the same fee.
that was my idea, that they're both the same.
Say that again?
Both hauler, septic, and wastewater will have the same $150 fee.
Okay. And that is per applicant or per, I mean, we had different,
Per
company,
applicant.
Per company, or person, yeah.
okay.
So you're not gonna second?
No.
Well, I'll second that. All right. So, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the industrial wastewater hauler with a fee of $150 per company? No further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to say nay.
That's fine. And I'm gonna vote aye, so.
Okay, can I would like to, what we don't have is a waste hauler fee.
That's right, that's the next
And
thing.
I think we should add one.
I was gonna bring it up, I got it right here. So, what I would like to refer to this as is haulers defined under Chapter 111, Section 31A and 31B. And I have a copy of that, if you guys want to see it. It's 31A is a permit for removal or transportation of garbage applications. So that's a garbage hauler. And up until this point, we have not had a fee for garbage haulers. And I think we should.
Now,
Finance committee would be very happy with me.
now, I know they would, a garbage hauler, so I was thinking, are you considering the dumpsters as well? The people
Those are
who
garbage
have
haulers, yes.
Okay.
Those fit into it, yep.
Okay. I think the fee should be the same as the wastewater and the,
I agree. So,
so I motion we add a fee for the waste hauler, and it is the same fee, matching $150 per vendor.
okay. All right, so Gail makes the motion, Alan seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Now, how do we let, because most people are used to coming in because we've had no fees, how do we?
Right. Can I just interject something?
You sure can.
I would like to I'd like someone to make a motion to make that fee immediate.
Oh, I motion to make that fee immediate.
Can we make it part of the same motion?
Yeah,
Yeah, I gotta,
well, if everybody agrees with it.
I'm not sure we're doing this correctly,
Okay.
because I'm not sure that we advertise this. Is that, have we got this properly advertised?
You need to let people know, give them some advance.
You know, if you make a new regulation, you have to publish and,
Well, we didn't make a regulation, we made a fee, which reflects on, that's why I said, so what we can do, so let me go backwards. So we made a fee associated with Chapter 111, Section 31A, which is already in place.
yep,
It's not a regulation. It's a statute that allows us to put fees in place for garbage haulers.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
don't doubt that.
Yeah,
But in doing it, you have to, I think You have to advertise that you're doing it. It's a
So-
new regulation.
Do you think we should
No.
put that in effect in January and put that out somewhere and publish it, that these are the new fees
You know what?
coming?
I would agree with that,
Yeah, I
actually.
don't have a problem with that.
Do you agree with that?
Say it again.
That we vote for the fee, but we make it effective January 1st, and that gives us till the end of the year to let people know that if you're hauling trash, and maybe we could have an email or a letter that could go out to some of these trash haulers to let them know.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm not sure we've,
I don't know if you want to do that, I mean,
well, I think you should,
how you want to publicize it is the question.
I don't necessarily have a good answer for that.
Well,
What do you mean by garbage haulers? I'm confused by.
Trash
what you mean.
containers.
You mean
Right.
like Casella?
yeah,
Yeah,
So they're gonna be having to pay $150 a year,
yes.
okay? And who else?
anybody that drops off a dumpster at your house.
Yep.
So they're gonna raise it, as if their fees aren't high enough, they're gonna be raising them even more.
Yeah.
I have a friend who got rid of a couch and a love seat, and it cost her $900.
She should have brought it to the recycle center, rented a truck for $60 and brought it to the recycle center for 20.
Well, she couldn't do that. Not everybody has the ability to do that.
That's true.
That's all, I'm just,
Well, recently, we had an issue in town where one of the companies wasn't picking up the dumpster. And, you know, this is one of the mechanisms that we could use to make sure that they pick up the dumpsters on a regular basis, you know? So, and again, not that we have to do everything every other town does, but most towns have this fee. Yeah,
Could you check with some of these other towns and see how they enacted it? I mean, towns that, like us, not cities.
No, what?
Not cities, and
oh, how they advertised it?
how they enacted it, how they brought it into being, legal being.
I could ask, but I mean, when I was in Millbury, it was already in place, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Put it in
doubt
while I
that.
was there, but.
I'm not arguing the merits of it. I'm raising the issue, are we doing this properly without advertising it?
Oh, well, a Board of Health can put any regulation in place. All they have to do is advertise it in a newspaper once.
That's correct.
But we're not putting a regulation in place. And that's important to specify that we're not enacting a regulation, we're enacting a fee that is reflected in a statute in this case. Like the like the industrial wastewater hauler's fee is included in the regulation in 314 CMR. So we're not enacting a new regulation, we're just now charging a fee that we're allowed to do under a regulation. And it's the same thing for the garbage haulers. But what we will do is I think we should advertise it in the paper, and, you know, we can even send notices out to the companies that we know are operating in Massachusetts, in Sterling now. And I think that would cover all our bases. And again, if we're not enacting it till January 1st, then they have plenty of time to come in and speak to us if they have an issue with it.
I'm just quickly looking up General Law 111, Section 31. It talks about the advertisement requirements for regulations.
Right.
And I'm not seeing anything on fees. Just a quick cursory.
Right.
I'm not seeing anything that says fees need to be advertised. It doesn't hurt the board to advertise their fee structure once it's been established as the same process as the regulations done.
And that was my point. If we advertise it in the paper, and then we send them a letter, I think we're doing more than what would be required if we were putting a regulation in place.
So maybe then, my recommendation would be that once the fee structure has been set by the board, we put out a general notification 2 successive weeks, following the same principles that the regulation is, saying that the Sterling Board of Health has revised their fee structure. Copies are available online and in the same process. And then they'll be noted to take effect January 1st in that advertisement, January 1st, 2025. We've advertised it that way for the weeks that are required.
Yeah, is it 2 weeks or just 1 week
It says 2 successive weeks.
for a regulation?
Well, for regulation, yeah. So, such regulation which exceeds minimum requirements, which exceeds.
I mean, I have no problem advertising it for 2 weeks anyways. I just want to be fair.
And the other thing is, once you start establishing with you have theirs paperwork, what they did in Millbury is they just we sent a blanket email out for all the trash haulers, all the sewer haulers, all the water haulers, everybody. They each got an email, you'd have a list, you obviously have a list, and you should have their email address, so you send them all at the November.
We don't have
To
a
renew.
list for the trash haulers because nobody's ever.
No, we wouldn't.
come to us. So we would not know who to send.
Oh,
John
right,
Doe's
right, no,
trash
but,
company.
exactly, I know we don't, but eventually we will develop one.
Sure, absolutely.
And in order to help them cooperate, we email them and they can print it and bring in their feedback.
But we know, just driving around town, you can see who has dumpsters in town, so.
Yep. So do we want to make a motion to put the fee in effective January 1st instead of immediate? And we can advertise it.
Yes, that's what we're gonna do. Well, I think that's what we already decided.
Yeah, part of the main motion.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
so January 1st.
It's been second? I don't think it's been second because he wanted to talk about it.
We didn't actually vote to make it immediate.
I have that you did.
Oh, we did? Okay, so,
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, he didn't, because Alan wanted to talk about it, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was discussed, and that would still be part of the main motion, though. At least it could be, unless you want it separate.
okay,
To my way of thinking, you discussed it after the fact, but it could be still part of the main motion, I would think.
that we're,
That you're implementing it January 1st.
okay,
Yeah,
yes.
I think that's,
I thought
after
that's,
discussion, it was agreed that, I'll put that in there,
Yeah.
that the effective date be. How
Okay.
about that?
yeah, we don't have to make, that's
That way you
perfect.
don't have, I don't have to
Yeah.
write another whole bunch
Nope.
of stuff.
No,
And do
All
we
right.
need to go aye, right? We haven't voted. We motioned, but we didn't vote.
did we vote on it? Okay,
I don't think we I don't
Okay,
think we
all right.
voted on a clear vote.
All right, I'll say you didn't, go ahead.
all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
So the motion is to advertise it now and implement it January 1st.
Correct.
Is that correct? Is
Yes.
that?
Yes, for $150 for garbage haulers.
Yes.
Garbage. Okay, I'll vote.
Okay.
So we voted.
Did you vote?
All aye, right?
Oh, yes, it was unanimous.
Okay. I guess we don't have to have a public session, do we?
I was just gonna say, I was going through. No public session necessary.
No.
Any future agenda items that people know of right now, you can bring them up. You can always bring them up down the road, up to 2 days beforehand, so. Next meeting date. September. let's see.
12th, I think it is, on the second Tuesday.
cannot be here on September 12th.
Okay.
The 5th to the 19th? Do you have any?
When's the fair?
The fair is I believe it's the weekend of the 6th, 7th.
Yeah, 6th,
Yeah, the
7th,
first
and
week,
8th.
6th, 7th, 8th.
So we're gonna have to sign, somebody's gonna have to sign a lot of food service permits.
I can always come in that week.
I would rather go later than earlier.
Okay. So 19th?
Okay, we're in we're looking at September, okay, yeah, I could do the 19th.
All right,
I'll have to check on this, but I think that's better.
okay. So September 19th, I'm available all the first week anyways for come in and make a stamp. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second. I motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion second, no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.